Okay, hello. Wedding day speeches. Possibilities for where, when, how, and wherefore. Okay, a little bit of advice. Um, Traditionally, then, wedding speeches after the meal. Uh, Bride's father, groom, best man. Bride's father, welcome, generally formalish. Groom, a little more informal, best man, as best man goes. Great idea to have them there. A number of people choose to have them at the beginning of the meal as well, usually because they want to get them over and done with. And also a number of people actually have them in between courses, which is a sort of compromise between the two. Okay, traditional. Advantages. Everyone's lathered, generally speaking. Maybe not, depends on your wedding. But a number, people expect to be entertained after the meal. Basically, wine will have been drunk probably. Your guests will be in receptive mood. Um, and there's a natural flow to eating and then sitting back and toasting, and it works really, really well. At the beginning, before the meal, this is my personally my least favourite time to listen and photograph to speeches. Really, I always think that your guests are ready to eat. They sit down, they're ready to eat really. And I think in terms of the reception of the speeches, I don't think that, generally speaking, guests are particularly receptive before the meal, particularly if the speeches are quite long. If they're going to be just fairly brief and introductory and hello-y, then maybe that's fine. The advantage to having them before the meal, of course, is that the bride's father, the groom, and the best man um, have the speeches done, they're sorted. If they're nervous about it, it's done, and they can get on and enjoy the day, which is perfectly reasonable. But I do think it's harder to deliver a speech at that point in the day. The compromise, doing it between courses, works quite well. Number of weddings I've been to in the last few months, the bride's father has spoken to everyone before the meal to introduce everyone, which is really nice. And then we've perhaps had the groom between courses, and then the best man at the end, and that actually works quite well. It breaks up the period of time when you're eating, which is quite a long time because often services are a good 2 hours or more. And it also just makes it, I think, a bit easier at the other end as well, where you're looking forward to the best man's speech, and you don't have to there sit through, the whole lot through all three speeches. Um, I hope that's useful. As I say, there's pros and cons to each, but and I've experienced all three. But hopefully that's given you a few ideas if you're in a quandary about where, when, and how to do your speeches on your wedding day.